Today I'm in the city of dreaming spires, Oxford, to meet the multi-talented actor, writer and producer Jon Xue Zhang, who is currently filming the role of Ram Man in the upcoming He-Man Masters of the Universe movie. Jon is also an accomplished martial artist, musician, stunt coordinator, stunt double, stunt performer, fight choreographer, self-defense instructor and workshop leader. It would appear there is nothing this man can't do. So let's go and have a chat with him to find out some of the secrets to his success. My name is Misha Bryan and this is Stage and Screen. Jon, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you so much for letting us into your life. It's lovely in here. We've got neon, we've got teddy bears. I'm totally moving in with you after the interview.
Oh, you know what? I need more pandas.
I think you do, actually. It's lovely in here, everyone. I'm moving in. I was just wondering if there was anything you don't do. Like, how do you find time to fit all of the work that you're doing into life? Can you please enlighten us?
My time management skills are impeccable. So I used to work full-time, part-time, evening jobs and weekend jobs. So my calendar was always really packed. And a lot of those jobs were not film related. But it was just a way for me to save some money so that one day I would be able to do film full-time, knowing full well that booking film jobs can be very sporadic, but I would have enough to live off. So my time management always had to be really on point. So I go from one job to the next, to the next. And a lot of that was very much keeping my eye on the calendar. Okay, I've done enough of this. I need to get this task done between now and then move on to the next one. So I had a lot of things that I wanted to accomplish. And since I was a kid, I had a list of things that I wanted to do. And I'm really happy to say at the age of 37, I've done most of them.
Oh, perfect. Because that's one of those things in life, isn't it? People often say, I want to do this, this and this. I was actually on the train the other day and a woman was like, oh, my 5-year plan has completely gone out the window because it's now the 7th year and I still haven't done any of the stuff I'm supposed to be doing. So gosh, you're such an inspiration that from being a child, you knew what you wanted to do and then you're achieving all of those things.
And I think when you are looking at, say, I remember telling one of the teachers at school when I was a kid, I want to be a superhero. And if I couldn't be a real-life superhero, I'd settle for playing one in a film or enjoying the tax-free income of a supervillain. But
Villain?
Yeah. They are far more wealthy than superheroes, generally.
There is that. Batman, maybe?
Oh, yeah,
Batman's
absolutely.
Yeah.
Although I think I remember when I was telling my school teachers about being a superhero, they said, okay, well, let's look at superheroes. Obviously they can fight because they have to fight baddies, but they've got to be quite intelligent as well. And so I think it's always been really important that it's not just about the physical, it's also about balancing it with mental and even spiritual attributes. So I thought, okay, let's, as a kid, it was like, I want to do this, 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 and this. And I've always wanted to prioritize the things that I wanted to do in life. And whilst being an actor is something that I always wanted to do, there are always other things that I wanted to do as well. So I thought, you know what, let's do them too. So a few side quests here, do a bit of this, do a bit of that. Let's work in this industry, let's work in that industry. And I think that informs you as an actor as well, because then I get a script and, I might be playing someone who works in a college. Well, I used to work at a college, so this actually helps. This feeds into that. And I think having life experience as well. And that way, if you've only done one thing, it's quite hard to then emulate doing something else, especially if you're an actor. So you have to do a lot more research and maybe be a bit more method. But then I think if you've worked in a lot of different industries, you can draw from those experiences.
Yeah, for sure. I guess people watching and being highly observant really does inform the acting, doesn't it? So even if something hasn't happened to you personally, you can draw on that, can't you? Which is great.
So a lot of the roles I played previously were gangster roles, or I've never been a gangster, but like security roles, for instance. When I used to work in security, I can draw from those experiences, and I think that's what makes it more authentic.
Yeah, for sure. Do you think that with your physique and your size that people are going, oh yeah, Jon can do that. You know, you can fall into the security roles, the kind
Yes.
of back gangster, going to beat somebody up roles.
Absolutely. And so I was much heavier before.
Oh, really?
I was maybe about 22 kilos heavier than I am now.
No.
And that would lock me into being typecast into certain roles. And so I did a show called The Brother Son on Netflix, where I was very heavy. And for season 2, I lost a lot of weight so that I could play a younger version of myself, where he's younger in shape and just. And I think when you're a little slimmer, you look a little younger as well here and there. I thought, let's do that, and then unfortunately we didn't get renewed for season 2. But certainly being a bit slimmer has increased my casting range for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you don't really want to get pigeonholed, do you, into just like that's what he does and then that's it. Because I'm guessing you've got such a full range of kind of characters within you.
Yes.
You don't want to just be restricted to doing that, which would be a shame, really, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm a huge nerd, so I love sci-fi and I love comedies. So, and if there's a sci-fi comedy, like something like Big Bang Theory, it's one of my favorite shows.
Yeah, me too.
I think how I look and how I am, how my personality is, they're actually quite different. You know, I think if you see me at the gym, I'm very much regarded to be a meathead.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're not a meathead.
But then I think as soon as I talk to anyone, it's like, oh, is that accent real?
Right, yeah.
So,
Yes.
so there is an element of that, but it's. I think whilst I work as an actor, my day to day, I'm very normal. You know, I like to retain a sense of normality.
Yeah.
But that also keeps me very grounded, and it allows me to achieve other things as well. It's like a lot of people at the gym. I say hi to everybody. Some of them might recognize me from shows and everything. And the only difference is now they know what I do for a living. But we're still very normal. I still get the bus into town, for instance.
Yeah. And it's good to stay grounded in that
100%.
as well, because then you just blend into your community and you can be part of it and know you can go out and
Yes.
not just kind of like have people go, Jon, will you autograph please? And what's coming up in season 2? And all of those things. So I'm loving just how autonomous you are and that you're your own spark. Like, did you just inspire yourself from as a youngster, or did you see something, or did you have somebody in your life who was like, you'd be really good in entertainment, you'd be really good at music and acting and things like that? Did you have a spark, or were you just like, do you know what, I know what I want to do, I'm going to get on with it?
So my parents were. I had a fairly strict upbringing, so academic, for instance, and with a strict upbringing, you also have, okay, you have to do music, you have to do well in school, you have to do all of these things. So I just saw it as an extension of who I wanted to become. And as a child, I wrote a list of things that future Jon would be. I wasn't too concerned about what future Jon has. I was more concerned about who future Jon is. What attributes does he have?
Yeah.
So he's kind, he's caring, not quick to anger, and reasonable, fun to be around. People love him. People love to hang out with him. People love to work with him. Okay, let's compare it to Jon now. And it's like, oh, okay, these things I need to adjust this list. So what skill sets, what training, what courses do I need to do to allow myself to become future Jon? So it's very much like designing your future self and visualizing that future self. So I visualize my future the way I remember my past. So it becomes real.
Yes.
And when you remember something, your body goes through what it went through at the time. So when you are thinking back to a time you were on holiday, you're walking on the beach, your body feels as if you can feel the sun, you can feel the sand underneath your feet, and it feels very real. But I apply that same mechanism to how I view myself in the future and how I want that to look. So my mind is in the future, my body just needs the requisite time to get there.
Yes.
And I think with my film career, for instance, this was always the plan. This was always the plan. It took me a little while to get there, but we have to be patient. And patience is one of the attributes that future John absolutely has.
Perfect. So there wasn't really ever a plan B, was there? I mean, you did those other jobs.
Yes.
And what were those other jobs?
So the other jobs were, I worked in finance, I worked in education for a number of years, I taught, I worked as a psychologist. So formerly I was the psychologist to the Saudi Arabian national taekwondo team. And I worked as a paranormal investigator. I did.
Really?
I also ran a car park. I worked in security. I worked as a delivery driver, graphic designer, web designer. My programming isn't so good anymore, but so I still do a lot of editing. And of course, I taught martial arts and to a range of different people from all walks of life. So it would be people who wanted to just take up martial arts or self-defense and learn attributes to stay safe, but also armed forces, security, police. So your tuition has to cater for different types of people who have training for different purposes.
Yes.
And more recently, leading workshops for actors, stunt performers, action performers who want to get into that genre. Last year, we hosted 3 seminars and workshops in a gymnastics school, which had foam pits, so we could throw ourselves off and dive into a foam pit, and it was a lot of fun. So I've worked in a fair few different industries, a fair few different jobs, and they were all very rewarding in their own right. And I felt that just adds, it's just accumulated experience.
Yeah, for sure. But I think underneath that, there's still this kind of focused mindset running through everything. And you're very positive, and it's like you know exactly where you're going. So I'm going to ask you about your meditation now. When did you start meditating? And how important has it been to you in terms of your outlook on life and how you approach new challenges?
I started meditating maybe about when I was 18 or 19. I've always known that it's good for you, but it's like, I also know that yoga is good for me, but did I want to do it? No. And I think with meditation, it's like keeping a clean email inbox. If you have thousands of emails that are unread and unsorted, it's chaotic. So if I can compartmentalize them into folders and then have a nice clean inbox, as soon as an email comes in, I won't miss it, and everything is nice and organized. So I try to be the same with my mind. And it very much is mindfulness, meditation, that all feeds into your daily life. And certainly I try to be as positive as I can, because I think we roughly think, for argument's sake, 50,000 thoughts a day. 70% of that is generally negative. And if it's negative, that's 35,000 thoughts. That's a lot of thoughts. So if I gave you £50,000 to spend every day, and if you spent £50,000 on things that made you unhappy, I think, Misha, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So you want to spend £50,000 on things that make you happy. That way, it's like, well, every day that resets. So I would rather choose to spend my thoughts as wisely as I would like to spend my money. So I want to be as conscious with what I spend my money, and I want to be as conscious with what I think. So I can control what I think. I can't maybe not control how I feel, but I can certainly control how I respond to a situation as opposed to react to it. And when you work in security, for instance, it presents dangers. And you have to be objective and not take anything personally. And of course, every day job you do, every film job you do, it presents challenges. And it's just knowing how to navigate the sea of emotions so that you might feel a certain way, but we have to be very careful that it's not redirected aggression. If I had a really good day and you tell me a joke, I might find it really funny. If I had a really rough day and you told me the same joke, I might snap at you because I had a really rough day. And I redirected some stress onto you. And we have to be really conscious of that. So I always try to take as much time as I can to respond to a situation as opposed to react to it. And meditation certainly helps with that, to clear the mental clutter. And that way, I can accept a situation for what it is as opposed to what I think it might be.
Definitely. Gosh, it's so amazing, isn't it? It's that kind of self-awareness
Yes.
and regulating your
Yes.
emotions. It's so key. But the thing is, you've been meditating for nearly 20 years now?
I would say so, nearly,
Yeah,
yes.
for nearly 20 years. And I've found that people who've been meditating for a long time, they have kind of a centered, kind of grounded and
Right.
a stillness. And also there's a joy as well.
Yes,
Like the
yes.
moment you open the door, I was like, this is my friend John. We've never met before. But I was like, this is my friend John.
The feeling is so mutual.
Yeah, for sure. And it's so lovely to just have that energy and spirit and for you to carry it around. And like you were saying, does the quietness then within your mind allow you to then, fully embody other characters? Because it's clear, you haven't got kind of like lots of thoughts already happening
Yes.
within the mind. So on set, you're like, I can focus on this and do exactly what I need to do.
Yes. So that way I don't have, I can steer more clear of biases and misconceptions.
Yes.
And I think everything I know is generally, I would say it's a tentative conclusion which I'm happy to change in light of better evidence, better reasoning, and better experience. So, okay, I'm always, it's really important to have an open mindset here. And I think that makes you a better performer generally, especially if you're open to feedback and criticism and
Yes.
critique. So if the director comes over and gives you a note, it's not usually personal. It's like, okay, they want me to do it this way, they want me to do it this way, no problem. Because ultimately you want to give the editor as much to work with.
Absolutely.
And sometimes when you watch the final cut, it's like, really, that take?
Yes.
Certainly been there.
Yeah.
But I think I think happiness is an absolute choice because we're going to go through life anyway, so might as well be happy about it. And when I'm stuck in traffic, for instance, I loathe traffic, as I'm sure you did on your way here today.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, what can I do? What can I actually do? I can't do anything besides sit here and wait for the traffic to clear up.
That's right.
Okay, I could be really upset about this, but what does that accomplish? It actually doesn't accomplish anything. If anything, it impedes my judgment. And I always say to people, it's important to put yourself first because it's like I can only donate money if I first have money. I can only give myself if I first have myself. So, and I think it's important to embody that because I used to work as a counselor. And I think it's important if you're going to work as a counselor to help someone else, you need to first help yourself first and lead by example. And that way it's like when I am stuck in traffic, I'm not going to yell at anyone. If someone cut me off, I'm pretty sure they saw an opportunity and went for it. And, it's a bit obnoxious, but I won't, I don't want to add to an already tense situation by... And it's so easy for us to just to spiral down. And it's difficult for us to catch ourselves from doing that. So when you meditate, as soon as you feel that, you're able to... There's a bit of time to be able to catch yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah.
And these days, when I'm meditating, for instance, I would say I just enjoy the peace. I enjoy the peace. And it doesn't take me I used to meditate for 3 hours a day.
Right.
And I used to go into the woods and and it's walking meditation. Sometimes I'd sit there 3 hours a day, every day. And sometimes it'll be an hour in the morning. Lunch break, I go for 40 minutes. In the evening, I go back and spend more time there. And I loved the peace or just enjoy the serenity. And I enjoyed that unencumbered of my own thoughts. So these days, I don't meditate for as long, but normally I use it as a coping mechanism for a while. And I think the more you employ a coping mechanism, it gives you an indication into how severe the initial issue was to begin with.
Definitely, yeah.
And these days, I meditate less, but it doesn't take me too much effort to get back down to a meditative state, which is where I like to be.
Yeah, for sure, because it's always, your baseline has kind of come up,
Yes.
hasn't it? So it's always just right there.
Absolutely.
And I guess you can take that kind of meditative stillness, calmness onto set with you, because obviously, early mornings, long days.
Absolutely.
You know, you've got to be on point for every single take.
Yes.
You can't just give them like 50% on this one because
No.
you're feeling a bit tired and it's take 5, you know, or whatever it is.
Absolutely.
So it's that clarity and that calmness, and
100%.
like you said, being able to take notes and not letting ego get in the way of that.
Absolutely. And I think with ego, having ambition is one thing, but having ego is quite destructive. And certainly with like martial arts, for instance, having an ego is the worst thing that anyone could possibly have, because you're more likely to injure someone or injure yourself or irrevocably damage a relationship with a training partner. It's like, okay, I've had a rough day at work today. I can't wait to train later and hit something. It's the wrong attitude to have.
Yeah.
And I say to people, if your instinct is to hit something to release this stress, it's not the right lesson. You need to work that out without having to resort to something physical. So certainly when it comes to self-defense or anything, or any kind of situation that might arise into a physical confrontation, anything that might present danger, you want to not aggravate the situation as much as possible.
Yes.
And day to day, when we're in the office, when we are on a film set, tensions are high. So we want to not aggravate that so much.
Yeah.
And I always say, so long as, a boat only sinks if water gets in. So you want to be careful with what you let in. And it doesn't matter how stormy the seas are, so long as you keep that boat nice and secure, doesn't matter which shore you land on, you're going to be fine. So long as you keep this nice and protected.
Absolutely. So what styles of martial arts do you practice?
So I started in 1993, and I trained in various styles of kung fu, karate, jiu-jitsu, some aikido, hapkido, some silat, and some arnis, which is a Filipino martial art. So I train in a variety of different things, but I'm an enthusiast. I love them all because there's something to be learned from all of them, and it makes you. The more you do, and the more you enjoy, the further you'll go. If you enjoy it, because you can be a bit of a nerd about this. So I want to learn a bit more about this, a bit more about this. Oh, actually, there's common ground, and then you start making these connections.
Okay.
And certainly with performing, doing screen fighting, for instance, sometimes they don't stick to one style. They just add a few moves from here, just whatever looks good on camera.
I've got you. I was going to ask. So, if like street fighting is different to on-screen
100%.
fighting, so how do you have to adapt your style so that it reads to an audience on screen? It lets me read.
Absolutely.
Like I know what I'm doing.
So if I'm designing a fight sequence, I would have to look at the story. I'd have to look at the two characters who are going to fight. What is their motivation? What is the context in which they're fighting? And then design something according to that. So it might come from different styles, but it is, martial arts splits into 3 categories.
Okay.
You have fighting, health, and performance. So the main thing with martial arts is just to be healthy. It's trained so that you're strong, healthy body and mind, and you have control over your physicality, but also your emotions.
Okay.
Fighting, if you absolutely have to. I think train when you don't want to so you can fight when you have to. But then performance. Now, when I was younger, of course, training for health, you want to be strong. I used to compete. Then I worked in security. So you need physical skills and attributes and composure under pressure to be able to deal with difficult and dangerous situations. And I still train for both of those things. I still train to be healthy, and I still train for self-defense, but I perform for a living. So I'm still using those skill sets. The only difference really with screen fighting is, one, it's choreographed, and
Right.
two, it's the distancing is so that the camera cheats it so it looks like I'm hitting someone, but I'm actually not.
Yes.
Accidents do happen. Sometimes people forget on set and they might hit you. It does happen.
Because they're getting so into character, is that what it is?
Yes,
Okay.
or they forget the choreography, and they panic, and then something happened, or someone forgot a movement, and then you get hit. You forgot to put your hand up, or you forgot to move out of the way, and
That's it, isn't it? You've got to be so kind of rigid and strict with that, haven't you? Because someone could really get hurt. And I guess obviously you as the actor, you're going to be hurt. The other person who hit you is going to be upset for hitting you.
Yes.
You probably have to take time away from set, that's money and all of those things. If you are consuming this audio only, don't forget you can check out the video version on YouTube or via my website, which is mishabryan.com. Have you ever been hurt on set?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
really?
When I worked as a stunt performer, I will say stunt performers are some of the most phenomenal athletes. They embody the term athlete because they're so well-rounded in everything they have to do. And it might be fall down some stairs, fall off a tree, fall onto a tree from somewhere else, or take a few reactions. So, you're running and then you get shot and you have to fall onto your back, for instance, or take a car hit, for instance. So, being a stunt performer, you have to do many, many things, and you have to be willing to do those things, but also be aware of safety as well. So you have to be very switched on. And it's the team of people that you have to trust as well. You need a good team. But I'd say, I've certainly been injured before. Concussions, broken ankle, broken hand.
Really?
It does happen.
Wow.
But it's, and sometimes you don't realize you've done it because adrenaline is running through you. So, I can do a few more takes. Oh, the swelling's getting heavier and heavier. And this is, my hand's enormous.
Huge,
yeah. Oh, and the medic on set is like, are you okay?
Yeah.
And it's like, and because I don't, I remember when I got injured once, the medic came over and gave me some Nurofen. I'd never taken it before. And, oh, hello. Suddenly, very sensitive to that. Oh my gosh. I was like, oh, can I have another? No. But, and I think it's really important to be self-aware as well. So that, okay, am I thirsty? I need to drink. I need to make sure I have enough energy. But certainly when it comes to doing stunts, the risk of injury is present.
Yes, for sure. I mean, I'm guessing there's probably no padding because that wouldn't look good underneath the costume, right? You kind of just got to go for it and just fall.
It depends on the costume.
Right.
Some costumes allow for a bit of space to put padding, but if which is great if you're walking, but if you fall and you bend your knee and they can see the padding,
that's not so good, is it?
So you get different thicknesses of padding, which is great, but if you are wearing a t-shirt, for instance, and you fall over, you won't have any elbow padding. You just kind of have to take it.
You just have to go for it. Wow.
And the difference between like being clumsy, for instance, and being a stunt performer is that you have to do that repeatedly. You have to get up and do it again and again and again. And sometimes it's really difficult.
I bet it. I was going to ask if there was a limit on how many takes you do, but I guess it's just until you get it, right?
Yes.
And that's that.
And then you have to trust the editor that it showcases that perfectly. So I think when you do stunts, it's the dangers are there, and you have to be aware of that. It's not all glory. And when you watch the final cut, I hope it does stunt performers justice. I've certainly watched the final cut of something I was in where I did this death scene it took about a month to shoot.
Really?
Again and again and again. And then when I saw the final cut, it was like,
oh no, really? Oh, that's
too
a
many
shame.
cuts, and it's like too many angles, and so that does happen. If you're doing theatre, for instance, when you're on stage, it is all you in front of a live audience. If it's film, it's more of an editor's medium for sure, because they will determine what it looks like at the very end.
Yes.
So sometimes I'd say to people, getting BTS footage is great if you can.
Oh yeah, absolutely. For sure. So you can go, that's what I actually did. It was really good.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I guess sometimes you just got to relinquish it, haven't you? And go, oh yeah, that was our final take. And now it's in the hands of the director and the editors, and just let it go,
Absolutely. And I'm the same with whether it's fight sequences or dialogue, so long as they have enough to work with.
Yes.
Great. You can get me to do it as many times as you need to, within reason.
Yeah.
But so long as they have enough to work with. And it's like if this is the director's vision, and it's following that vision. So I'd also say to people, you might have an idea of what the character looks like, but don't take it personally if they want to go a different direction.
Yeah.
And certainly going in a different direction when you go for auditions, for instance, it's here's where meditation really comes in and mindfulness, because you go into an audition and if it felt good, you might not book the job. It happens. And I always say to people, it's not rejection, it's redirection. If I'm using the same boat analogy, if one port declines my docking, then I will sail to the next one.
Yes.
So, it's, I think being in this industry is tough because it's not linear. Like, success in this industry is not linear. You might book a really good job, then have nothing for a while.
That's it.
And I always say to performers, when you're not working in your craft, you need to be working on your craft.
Yeah, definitely.
And stay working. So during the strikes, I did student films. And by that point, I had done a Netflix show. I had worked on Marvel films, Fast and Furious. I'd done all of those things. But hey, none of us are working right now. I'll do a student film. I had the best time.
Yeah.
But then it's like, okay, well, I'll start producing more as well. I want to do that because I want to give some of my other friends some opportunities. And yeah, I think working as a producer, there's a lot of paperwork which I was not prepared for.
Right, okay.
Oh my gosh, yeah. But I think it's important when you work in film to have experience with the different job roles, so that way you can really appreciate what they're doing.
For sure,
So editing or camera work or sound, just do you mind doing that, saying that line again, just for audio? And I think it's really important that way you can appreciate what every crew member does.
Definitely, because everybody is important.
100%.
On a set,
Yes.
always watch the credits at the end of a movie. See who was working on it, because they totally deserve it. It's not just
100%.
about the faces you see on screen.
And I say to people, whilst I'm on screen, there is a team of people out there that are making me look cool. This is your victory as well,
Yes.
as well as mine. I am the face of that victory, but this belongs to you as well. So it's I remember when I did Brother's Son, I wrote 93 thank you cards, all personalized, including Sam and Deborah at security who greeted me every morning. Even the cleaners, even people who I had less interaction with, but they helped me. But then every card was personalized.
Yes.
Thank you for, bringing me this. Thank you for helping me out that one time. And because I wanted people to know that I appreciated them. And it took 7 hours to do all that. And because,
wow. And your hand was like this at the end.
Oh my gosh. Whoever's name, I did it in alphabetical order, so whoever's name began with a Z, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's like...
Yeah, you were just writing it with a massive crayon.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
And I think it's really important to show appreciation, because certainly as your career progresses, you have far more to be grateful for.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
And it's important to be in an attitude of gratitude. So anytime the studio called me last minute, I'm happy to be there. I'm happy to be there because this is what I do for a living.
Yes.
And I will, I'll prioritize that. But then I'm just happy to be there. And
Yeah.
I'm just really happy to be there.
For sure.
Absolutely.
So are you one of those actors, it's like, oh, someone's offered me something, I'm totally going to go and do it? Or are you like, that's not really a role that I would like to
So
partake in?
now I have agents who help me with that and help me decide what roles are good for me. It's more of a team discussion now, which is great. And I think previously, before I had an agent, I would hustle a lot. I wasn't on Spotlight. I didn't have an agent, and it would be posting lots of content, reaching out to people, collaborating people, attending film festivals, having researched everybody who's going to be there, and watched their body of work. And then when I speak to the directors or the filmmakers, I'm not just saying I'm a fan of the thing I just watched. No, I'm a fan of your work. I'm a fan of you.
Yes.
And it's like, I remember saying that to a couple of actors, do that, and make contact. And it's important to network as well. Because I know they say it's not who you know, it's not what you know, but who you know. But it's also who knows you.
Yes.
And it's really important to be visible, because there's a lot of talented people out there who aren't great at marketing themselves.
For sure.
And when I wasn't on Spotlight, when I didn't have an agent, a lot of it was hustling. So I would do a lot of martial arts seminars. I would do a lot of workshops for actors, especially when I wasn't working in film as much. But I think it's important to do that and get your name out there, but putting in the effort to do that, because it's a lot of people want the view but not the climb. And it's like, but you can only have the view if you do the climb, because then you're grateful for it once you're there, and then you can plan, where do I want to go next?
Yes.
Or maybe this isn't for me, you know?
Yeah, definitely. It's interesting, isn't it? Because people don't realise it takes years and years of work and graft. And sometimes you show up in something and like, oh, where's this new guy, John, from? And it's like, no, this has been like 20 years in the making, you know?
An overnight success is an everyday hustler. And it's so important that when you see someone who suddenly came out of the blue, out of nowhere, okay, watch everything they've done up until that point, you know. So it's like when you see musicians, for instance, like Ed Sheeran, and you see him actually, no, he's busking, you know, before then.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and that's amazing.
Yeah.
I think that's so inspirational, because he put in a lot of work to do that.
That's it, absolutely. And then the thing is, you're kind of cutting your teeth in different kind of size venues as well. You said you did student films, and you've done plays, and then you've been on TV, and you've done film. It's like that huge range of experience is now kind of just mixed together and amalgamated to make you who you are.
Absolutely.
Which is why you landed the role of Ram Man. Isn't it? I mean, that's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And how is the filming going?
It's intensive.
Oh, really?
It's intensive, but it's a dream come true.
Yes.
I think being a fan of the show, I have an older brother who was really into all the comic books, you know, X-Men, Batman, Avengers. We had all the comic books, and we watched all the cartoons, and Masters of the Universe was one of them. We had all the action figures.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it was amazing.
Did you have Ram Man as well?
I did.
My God, how funny is that? Like,
it's insane.
How many years ago you were actually holding yourself?
Yeah. I know. It's crazy. I went into a comic book store the other day, just to burn some time. I was seeing a friend, and I saw a Ram Man action figure. I thought, it's a little self-indulgent, but I will make purchase. And the guy, the guy who was at the cash, he just looked at me. I didn't say anything.
You did good. Yeah.
No, I mean, I remember one time I was at the gym, and someone said to me, I've just watched this show, and there's a guy in it that looks just like you, but you're in way better shape than he is. I was like, oh, which show is that? And he was like, oh, it's something called The Brothers of Sun. I was like, oh, and where can I watch it? He goes, oh, it's on Netflix. I'm like, okay, I'll make a note of it, and I'll be sure to watch it. Yeah.
But then you're like, hey, that was me, and I'm like, I'm in good shape.
I never told him.
Did you
No. I was like, He was just like, no, you were in way better shape than that guy. I'm like,
like he was like really, like, oh, that guy, he looked terrible.
Yeah, it's like, you know, I think if you got like, if you decided to like eat a few more meals a day, or you know what I mean, and like hit the buffet all the time, you could look like that guy. And he didn't say that, but I was like,
that's so funny.
Yeah.
Isn't it weird? I guess, you know, because of the way you are, you know, kind of like not walking around with like neon sign, like, oh, I'm John off the telly and all that. You're just blending in, which is beautiful. And so people are just like thinking you look like that geezer off the telly, but it's actually you.
Well, it's like when I'm on the bus into town, you know, because it's easier to get the bus into town than it is to drive. But then I've had people look at me. It's like, he looks familiar.
Yeah.
And when I did Take Me Out,
yes, the dating show. Did you win that?
I got a date, and I flew to the Isle of Fernandos.
That was worth it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, go.
And Trudy, who was my date, we're still very good friends.
Oh, good.
Hi, Trudy.
Hi, Trudy. I don't know you. But hi.
Lovely girl. But yeah, after that, that was 9 years ago, 10 years ago, and you know, people still recognize me for
From that, yeah.
And sometimes, you know, it's like, you know, it's like, you're that guy of that TV show. And I'm like, I've done other things, but you don't care about that.
Yeah.
But I'd say, it's really nice to be recognized for work that you do.
Yeah.
And thus far, fans of shows that I've been in, and even Masters of the Universe, I get messages on social media or emails, from fans from the 80s congratulating me, which is really wholesome.
Wow.
And it's like, I have your blessing. You're a fan of the original show. I have your blessing. Okay, cool.
Perfect. And they're going to love you when it comes out. I don't want you to tell us any spoilers, but your character, you know what, I was reading something and it was like saying, oh, Ram Man obviously is known for using his head as a battering ram. So I'm guessing that you have to wear a helmet. Is the helmet comfortable?
It's insulated.
So it's hot then.
I would love to have it for the winter.
Oh, perfect.
But I mean, I've been in a couple superhero costumes before, and they are quite toasty. And I'm grateful that this one has a zip that I can
At the front.
For my trousers.
So you can go to the bathroom freely. That's
Absolutely.
the main thing, guys. Toilets.
I think when I've had friends who were stormtroopers in Star Wars, and the
Right.
costumes for them were uncomfortable. But these are things that cosplayers have fixed years ago. And yeah, so it's I think costume design, set design, and the special effects, the practical effects for this one would just be monumental.
Yes, I bet just watching the characters come to life on set in front of you, from holding the action figure as a child to now being like, hang on a minute, first of all, I'm one of them, and like, there's He-Man, this is weird. Yeah, that must be so cool.
It's a dream come true. It's
Yeah.
a dream. And I'd say with any role, it's an extension of, because you embody that role to try to bring that character to life. That character is an extension of you now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's and certainly when you look at the character, when you look at any comic book character, they're all so insanely muscular.
They are.
Yeah. So there might be a bit of body dysmorphia there. It's like, oh, I think my hands, my forearms, and my arms need to be much bigger.
Much bigger. I think you're doing all right, John, to be honest, in the physique section.
Thank you very much.
So the film is out in June next year,
Yes,
isn't it?
that's correct.
And where are we going to be able to watch it?
Cinemas.
So red carpet.
Oh gosh. Oh yeah, I hadn't considered that.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the first thing I'm
Oh my
thinking. I'm
gosh.
like, what are you going to wear? Like, that's it.
I have no idea. I think I will cross that bridge when I come
When
to
you
it.
get there. Okay.
Yeah,
So
I
you can look very dapper in whatever
I
you
will try.
choose.
I will try.
Perfect. So, you won an award for your acting because you're amazing, obviously. You won the Critics' Choice Award for Best Actor at the Golden Lion International Film Festival, didn't you?
Yes,
In
yes.
2023.
Yes.
And you played the lead role of Mr. Momoto.
Yes.
It was so funny. I watched it and I
You
was like,
did?
yes, I did. I
Oh.
was like, this is amazing.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And so well deserved, the
Thank you,
award.
thank you.
Congratulations. How did it feel for your work to be recognised?
I mean, it's wonderful. Anytime you're nominated for anything, I regard nominees to be winners because they were deemed, good enough to win. But to win the award was really, really nice. It was all online, so I got a notification. I thought, oh my gosh, that's so nice.
Wow.
And I think, it just inspires you to push on and do more and continue to improve. And I think anytime you get recognition, anytime you get an award for anything, it's not a time to be complacent. This is a time to step it up.
Yes.
Step it up and continue to work hard because your hard work got to where you are. You need more hard work to get you further.
Absolutely.
And certainly the more connections you make, that helps to facilitate certain movements in your career, which is really important. But I'd say to people who are starting out, don't be discouraged. Don't be discouraged because not now doesn't mean not ever. And the world is big enough for everyone to have what they want to achieve and more.
Yes.
So I think it's important to not get too bogged down about, this didn't work out. I know it didn't work out, but let's move. Let's see what we can do next.
Yes.
And certainly the industry at the moment is slowly picking up, very slowly. But And I say to actors, just keep doing your own thing, keep filming stuff, filming with other people, collaborating with people, and make connections with people on social media, because now we can. And I think when you see a director or a filmmaker post something on their stories or something, don't just send a love reaction. Actually, give some feedback.
Yes.
What did you love about it?
Yeah.
And it's and that certainly helps you to put yourself on a radar.
For sure.
And I would say you never know who's watching. You never know who's watching. And the most important thing is that you continue to be a good person. The opportunity will come for you. I remember going into an audition. They wanted big guys who looked like mechanics from Fast and Furious.
Right.
And at the time, I was much bigger. And I thought, I'm a big guy. And I've done Fast and Furious. I think I've got this. I walked in, I was the smallest guy in the room.
You were the smallest
I was the
in
smallest
the
guy
room?
in the room. Oh my gosh, it was.
No.
Yeah. And, okay, you know what? That guy sat down over there. I think my arms are a bit bigger than his. I'm going to stand next to him. And then he got called into the audition room and he stood up and didn't stop standing up. I thought...
I didn't stop standing.
I thought, great.
That's a big person.
Yeah.
Yeah, right there.
So you have a lot of very talented people who jumped through all the hoops, went to drama school, did this, did that. But, with the way the industry is, we are all struggling at some point. And I think same storm, different boat.
Yeah, for sure. Do you know what? It's just, as an actor, it's that thing of take every opportunity that you can get. And an audition, just learning the scenes or
Yes.
whatever it is. Go in there, do your work. And you've actually been doing work without getting paid,
Yes.
So it's still that release and the practice of the craft, which is amazing.
The audition is part of the job. And I think self-tape's part of the job. But not every job is the right one. Not every opportunity is the right one. So I think I'm in a fortunate position where I can choose which roles would be good for me. Although I do think, there are roles that I wouldn't do, especially down the line if I have a family. I would want my kids to watch the stuff that I'm in and be like, oh, that's so cool, as opposed to, ew, really?
Yeah. I think I was watching a thing about Denzel Washington the other day, and there were certain things he wouldn't do
Yes.
because he was thinking, actually, I wouldn't want my children to see that.
Yes,
So yeah, you're in that
100%.
kind of same vein. Thank you so much for watching and listening. However you're consuming this podcast, please consider subscribing, liking, and leaving us a 5-star review, as this helps us to reach a wider audience. Your support is very much appreciated. Now back to the show. Jon, thank you so much. You're so positive and giving, and it's just been a wonderful, wonderful interview. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. Where can we find out more about you?
My website is xue-zhang.com or Instagram, which is Jon Xue Zhang.
Perfect. We'll see you there, Jon.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much, and best of luck with the rest of the filming.
Thank you.